Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I just wanted to make a quick video and kind of go over a little bit of the Flycast on the PS Vita. I know there's been a lot of excitement, everyone trying to get it working on their Vita, people running into problems, people who are devs or who are familiar with doing this kind of stuff, getting it up and running and getting annoyed with everyone asking about it crashing with errors. I guess I just first wanted to disclaim that, I'm not an expert. I'm just a gamer myself and have been excited about trying to get it up and running so I could, see how Dreamcast is on the Vita. And just with full disclosure, again, like I'm just a gamer and not an expert, but so far I feel like there's probably just a lot of hype. It's really cool that we have this, and props and thanks go out to all the devs and everybody working on these projects and everything. But I just feel like, from the community perspective, we should just be, grateful and excited and to see what could come. But at the same time, we can't have these crazy expectations that everything's going to run at, full 60 frames and be perfect. I know there's also the testing that's been going on, and people are saying that some of the games are running perfectly, but these games are not running perfectly. Let's be honest. Like, I know everyone's excited, and it is cool to kind of play it in this handheld form, but my experiences I'll show a little bit too is just that these games are just it's cool to see them, but if you want a full experience, you're probably going to want to play them on a different device. But anyways, yeah, so as I mentioned, I was initially getting the crash error, the C2 error code 12828-1, because I was not setting it up properly, and now I have it set up. I feel like there's a lot of confusion because people were able to get it up and set up, and then other people weren't. And so the people who got it set up didn't really know what the issues were because they were able to get it working. And so when you have people getting this error code and not knowing why, they're just assuming all these random things, but they don't really know because, yeah, they got it working and they're just not sure. So as you can see, I have auto plugin here, working with quite a few plugins, to be honest. So I don't think that it really is that. It's mainly that you need to, if you are getting that error code, the 12828-1 C2 error code, it probably just means that you have the wrong version of Flycast, as well as the wrong version of kubridge, and probably that, or you don't have the libshacccg.suprx file in the right place. So yeah, basically you can use auto plugin and have that to get your kubridge plugin on there, but you'll actually need the updated 0.2 version and need to be able to replace that. So what does that mean? So if you go into your plugins, so I can go down to the kubridge one, you can just literally go into auto plugin 2 and install it there. But this is version 0.01. So it'll install everything that you need and put it on the kernel. You'll just need to actually find the kubridge 0.2 version of this file online, and then put it on in Vita Shell and just literally paste it over this version. And I'll show you really quickly what that looks like in Vita Shell. And I think you would want to do this first before installing Flycast, to be honest. There's my ROMs. Let's see. So it's going to be in your TIE folder, which mine is actually located on my URO, which could be different. So I don't want to confuse anyone, but if you know where your TIE folder is, it could be in different places for your plugins. But mine is here under my URO, and then under my TIE file, there it is right there. So you need to find the kubridge SKPRX file version 0.2, and then literally just paste it over this one right here. And when you do, that should work, if that makes sense. Otherwise you'll have to kind of manually do it. So hopefully that doesn't sound too confusing. So you do that, and then you need to install Flycast, which is everywhere. But you need the right version of Flycast. So I know there's been a bunch of people saying that certain Flycasts don't work with auto plugin 2, and that's not true. So this version that I have here is version 1.0.2 at the time of this recording. And all that it does is when you start it up, and if you installed the kubridge file correctly, is it does give you this error code right here that says that basically you shouldn't use auto plugin 2 or has been detected, and you just go down to proceed and you can still use the app. So so there's my games. Now, yeah, like I said, I have auto plugin on here. It just does that prompt. You can still actually use it and run it. But yeah, I would get kubridge version 0.2. You can install the first version with auto plugin 2 and then just find 0.2 version and paste it over that file in your tie. Then you can install Flycast VPK version 1.0.2 for Flycast. The other thing that you'll need is the libshac file, which is a file that you'll need for some of these newer games and like ports and stuff. So mine, I'll just show you real quick under Vita shell. So mine is actually, I think, in my URL under data as well. Yeah. So mine's just right here in the data file under my URL. Again, I'm not an expert on this, so not trying to like mislead anyone, but I know for one of the Mario ports, I had to add that file there in order for those to work. So yeah, that's in the data file. And again, my kubridge is up to date in my tie. And then you can simply install the VPK for Flycast in your regular UXO. Make sure the Flycast is version 1.0.2. And then that should be all that you need to get it working. It was really hard for me. I could not understand. I kept getting that error code. But once I made sure I had the correct version of kubridge pasted in, the libshac in the right place, and Flycast version 1.0.2 installed, I was able to get it to work. And as exciting as it was, as you can see in the background, I've got my Redream going on my my HD Fire Tab Plus running at 60. So it's going to be hard to play some of these games and realize that they're just not quite there yet. You need to install the BIOS, which you can do after you get it up and running, and you'll have to find that online for yourself. But yeah, so the games that I tested here, I actually tested quite a few, and most of them just were pretty underwhelming, and you can definitely do some tweaks, and I would say they are playable, but just a lot of them are just like so choppy, and to know that like you can emulate these on other things for around the same price point is just, yeah. So it's really great that we have this technology, and that everyone has been able to, you know, enjoy it for what it is, but I think it still has a long way to go. So I'm excited I'm not trying to be a pessimist, you know, I'm excited that we're at this point. But if you're looking to play these at full speed and, you know, relive like the Daigo parry on Street Fighter 3 Third Strike or something, I mean, we're just not there yet. So I also wanted to show, you know, Capcom Vs SNK, there's a version of that on Dreamcast. It'll boot up, it's just super choppy. Yeah, so I'll kind of go through some of these real quick. And then I also wanted to show Dolphin Blue as well. So that actually loaded up, but yeah, it's just too choppy to play. So I think this is a Japanese version as well.
Vs SNK 2. Here we go.
Yeah, so these select menus are pretty choppy as it is. But it's saying we're getting 60. You know, I don't know how accurate these are. I actually had the other core FPS going as well, and it was showing different frame rates. So again, it's just all still, you know, in this developmental state, and you know, grateful for what we have, but you know, if you're expecting to just like relive the glory days on Dreamcast, I don't know if this is your best option. Yeah, 46 frames. Now I could up the core. Got some Hadokens. Yeah, and I also have a setting, I don't know if you can see really closely on the characters, but there's kind of some line, like hitbox situation going on. I think I need to tweak the settings a little bit. So, I mean, I guess you could consider this playable, but just not the best situation. So let me see if I can up the, all right. Now it's a little bit snappier with the fourth core up a little bit, but again, I think this will just take a lot of tweaking. And again, you know, right here on my HD HD Fire 10 Plus, these games run at 60. So that tablet I got on sale for about $100. But yeah, yeah. So let's go into. I'll just show you the Dolphin Blue. Show that it actually boots up. It's kind of cool because that is an Atomic Wave port running on the Vita. And I disclaim that running on the Vita. Let's see here. This is crazy. When I saw this boot up, I was like super pumped, and then yeah. Now the fourth core is still up, boosted a little bit, so this might run a little differently. I don't know if I actually even checked that before. It's crazy to see that logo. And this is the widescreen hack. So, yeah, I don't have the regular version, but yeah, 16 frames. Yeah, this is not playable, to be honest. So, yeah, so again, I appreciate it, all the work that everyone's put in. If you're wanting to get this running and test some games out and help out the community, you know, maybe that will help you if you're getting the error code. I think, yeah, there's still a lot of work to be done. But if you're wanting to play Dreamcast, you know, at 60 frames a second, there are definitely other options out there. And I plan to make another video or two, maybe talking about my tablet and kind of what that's been like. Because this does, you know, I can take this anywhere and, you know, stream videos and use apps and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as Dreamcast on the Vita, if you're running into that problem, stick with the, try to get the kubridge, the right version in there first, get your libshac in the right spot, and make sure that you have the newer version of Flycast, and that should get rid of that error code. Yeah, I forgot to mention too, I'm on Hinkaku Enzo 3.65 firmware, custom firmware, and it's the one that has a 2 on it, which came from the Vita deploy. So if you're still looking to hack in an easy way, Vita deploy is probably the quickest way. I used to have a Vita that had like 400 gigs and, you know, all the SD to Vita stuff going, but now I just have like a regular memory card on this 1000 model. I like the OLED, and you know, I like just being able to kind of test out stuff and run some of my favorite games. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have any questions. Definitely leave some comments below. And yeah, this is my first video here on YouTube, so make sure and subscribe and give a thumbs up. I probably have 0 followers at this point or anything like that, but plan on making some gaming videos and hopefully helping you guys out. If you have any questions about, you know, Vita or kind of the scene and how it is as the recording of this video, you know, for August 27th, 2022, this is kind of crazy that we have Dreamcast going on the Vita. So hopefully it's good. Again, if you guys have any questions, just comment below. Hopefully you guys can enjoy this. Don't expect to be playing, you know, Third Strike and doing some Daigo parries or anything like that, but it's definitely pretty fun to mess around with. So with that, hope you guys have a good one. See ya.